Next speaker. And I don't need the box. Well, I have the pleasure of introducing Joyce Rowlands, who is the registrar of the College of Registered Psychotherapists and Registered Mental Health Transit. Wait a minute, let me start again. Joyce Rowlands, who is the registrar of the Transitional Council of the College of Registered Psychotherapists and Registered Mental Health Therapists of Ontario, a college to which we will hopefully all belong. Joyce is no stranger to OSP. She's come and given us updates on the workings of the Transitional Council, and we are nearing proclamation, and she's here today to give us the latest update on the workings of the Transitional Council. I'd like to invite Joyce to come to the podium.
Pleasure to be here on your 20th anniversary and to be back. Actually, someone well known to you, David Chasky, passed by me and said, "You again?" Yep, here I am again. I bring greetings from the Transitional Council, which has been in place now for 3 years, as you would know probably, and has accomplished a great deal of work, I must say, but we're not finished yet, and there's still quite a bit ahead of us. Today, yes, I'm not going to give my usual presentation. I think many of you are familiar with much of the work of the Transitional Council, so I'm not going to talk again about the legislative framework or the Controlled Act or the scope of practice, the two titles, or any of that. Maybe I could just have a show of hands. How many of you are generally familiar with what we're doing at the Transitional Council? Quite a few, most of you, I think, so that's great. I'm going to channel Dr. Goldblum for a moment and say, I'm not sure whether we're cleaning up a mess or creating a mess, but maybe a little bit of both. Certainly, some would say that we're cleaning up a mess because with the creation of the new college, we will have standards and accountability, and we will no longer have a situation where anybody with or without training can hang up a shingle and call themselves a psychotherapist. That will end. Some might say we're creating a bit of a mess because we are working with awkward legislation. We're bringing together very diverse practitioners with very different backgrounds and training, and it's not always an easy fit. We haven't necessarily found exactly the right formula yet to bring everybody under the umbrella of the college, but we're working hard, and it continues to be a challenge. It was really encouraging to hear from Dr. Goldblum that his encouraging words about the creation of the college and welcoming the creation of the college, looking to the future where there will be a structure of accountability and standards. So it's nice to know that the mental health establishment is welcoming the creation of this new college, and I think that bodes well for the future, actually, and some of the issues you were raising in questions in terms of how psychotherapists will be integrated into the broader system. First of all, I'm going to talk about the timing to proclamation, and when we talk about proclamation, that's the final coming into effect of the Psychotherapy Act. Many of you will have heard that we had been told by the government some time ago that proclamation would happen April 1st, 2013, which is a few months from now. We, the Transitional Council and staff, have been saying for a number of months that simply is not going to happen, was not going to happen, and the ministry, I think, recognized that some time ago. There are 5 transitional councils now. 2 or 3 of them, I think, will be ready for proclamation April 1st, 2013. One of them, the naturopaths, they're already regulated under other legislation. Another, the kinesiologists, are a very coherent, identifiable group that have a very straightforward training path and a specific academic credentials. So their path to regulation and proclamation is fairly straightforward. The 3rd transitional council that will be proclaimed, I think, in a few months' time is traditional Chinese medicine. Their council was appointed about a year and a half before ours was. So the fact that we're not going to be ready for this coming April is no surprise to me, and but we are being told now by the ministry that we should try and be ready by, or they're expecting us to be ready by April 1st, 2014. So that's a year and a bit. Okay, what progress have we made to date? Well, you will have heard us talking about the regulations, and much of the work of the council for the first couple of years was in developing 3 particular regulations that have to be developed under the Psychotherapy Act. One is the professional misconduct regulation, which actually has been approved by government, is now posted on the government's e-laws website underneath the Psychotherapy Act, so that is now complete. The quality assurance regulation, which sets out a quality assurance ongoing professional development and competency program. That regulation is with the ministry now, and it's as far as I know, it's more or less past muster with the ministry staff and bureaucrats, and it's just wending its way to final cabinet approval. And that's the important piece, the quality assurance program that Dr. Goldblum referred to as being a key piece for all professionals and regulated professionals going forward, members of the new college, in terms of ongoing learning and professional development. The 3rd regulation is the registration regulation, which was submitted to the ministry in January of this year, and I can say that we have had heads up and discussion with the ministry about their feedback on it. We will soon be receiving formal written response from the ministry about the regulation. I have been saying for the last few months, and I think many people are aware, that the ministry has had some concerns about the 2nd category of membership, the registered mental health therapist category, and the way we had conceptualized that category of members. And the ministry had told us a few months back that they would be doing their own internal consultation with other ministries and various stakeholder groups and associations and organizations that represent many of these kinds of professionals. So we do know that they have done that, and in some ways redid a lot of the research and discussions that we had done ourselves, and we will be receiving a formal word from them shortly as to what direction we will be taking from here on in. I think it's safe to say that there could be some changes. We also have quite a few projects underway, so as well as finalizing these regulations and perhaps having to do some more work on the registration regulation, we are busy with a number of projects. One is developing a framework for reviewing and recognizing education and training programs, so that when somebody who's completed a particular program, if we have reviewed it and recognized it, we will know that it meets our requirements in terms of developing the necessary entry to practice competencies. We're developing a point system for assessing grandparenting applicants, and I'm going to talk about that a bit more because I'm sure many of you are interested in that. We're in the process of trying to identify a vendor or an IT systems developer to develop our registration system, which is a big undertaking and costly. We're also developing practice standards based on our professional misconduct regulation. The regulation is it's couched in negative language, and it sort of sets out quite a long list of provisions that identify activities that could be seen as professional misconduct. The standards are based on the misconduct regulation, but will turn it around into more positive language and to help to guide members as to what the expectations are in terms of professional conduct and professional practice standards, which are not the same as clinical practice standards, or clinical practice standards can be seen as a subset of professional practice standards. We're not going to be writing the textbook on psychotherapy and telling you in detail at a clinical level how you should be practicing. And we're also developing, just about completed actually, the jurisprudence learning module, which we used to refer to as a jurisprudence exam. It's a requirement for all members for registration, and it's going to be an online learning module that everybody will have to work their way through, and the purpose is to ensure that members understand their professional responsibilities and obligations as a regulated health professional in Ontario. And we're actually hoping that that will be available